So peeps, what needs to happen for BG Blitz to become the main mode of PvP? And that's the topic we shall be covering today, since now we know that the focus to some point of the next expansion will be BG Blitz or Solo RBG, however you want to call them. And I think Blizzard has to change certain things for sure to kind of facilitate this change in PvP focus. What exactly I'm talking about is that PvP side of the game is almost exclusively tuned for 3 versus 3. And this of course ends up in certain imbalances in different kinds of modes, specifically in BGs. So let's start talking about first Blizzard doing us dirty again and saving this for the next expansion. I personally hoped we would get this in Season 4, at least some kind of a like testing version. Right now of course that is not the case. I'm personally just really kind of frustrated by the fact that it kind of feels like they're just baiting us into the next expansion instead of finishing it on purpose, kind of, you know. Well, we can kind of forget about this. We're probably gonna get it, I think, in the pre-patch, but yeah, the pre-patch is kind of far away, and you know, it's a while away, right? We've hoped, I think at least I hope we would get this in Season 4, and we would at least have some kind of a rating system. We would, you know, have some serious solo RBGs or BG Blitzes, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have fun still playing BG Blitz because I know it's like a solo mode for sure, right? You're not gonna be facing pre-mates, but yeah, other than that, I feel like that's a huge mistake on their part for not actually giving us at least some kind of a more incentive to play it seriously, right? Making it more ranked. Like they did give us the ability to play BG Blitz and fill up our vault. That is very nice, but yeah, I feel like people still don't care for that rating, so people are not gonna actually play it for the win, right? They're just gonna play for fun, which is, you know, good still, but so this felt a lot better in Shadowlands, I think, with Soul Shuffle moving into Dragonflight, but here is just, we've been testing it for months, and it's like, oh, be excited for War Within, but man, what am I supposed to be excited in Season 4, right? But as I said already, like, they could have just given us some kind of ratings or pseudo rewards or whatever. Like, since Season 4 is the same kind of appearances from Season 3, why can't we get the appearance from rating in the BG Blitz? Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it just feels like a very, very missed opportunity here. So the first thing that we have to talk about is of course healing, and healing just can't exist in the game like it exists right now. Like, it is absolutely insane. Healers are just basically tanks, gods. Very rarely do you feel like you can kill one, and whenever you can kill one, it usually feels like this person is just not as good as the other healers, because you're gonna fight another person who's, you know, the exact same spec, exact same everything, but that person is just not dying to 3 of you attacking, you know, the healer. So it doesn't matter, right? This of course comes from the fact that arenas have dampening, right, and BGs don't have dampening. Now the big issue, I think, also behind Dragonflight is also the fact that I think the tuning of damage and healing is very, very high compared to like other expansions. So it just feels like a bigger difference in the battlegrounds than it ever has felt before, because I don't remember in Shadowlands not being able to kill a healer in BGs. I don't remember in our expansions not being able to kill, right? In BFA we also had dampening, so like I don't remember then having a problem killing healers as well in BGs. Like, this is very specific to Dragonflight, I think, tuning, and I think, yeah, we can just safely say like the damage and healing has never been like this. Like, I've never played like MOP, Legion or Worlds of Denver, but yeah, I just never have seen damage like this. This is also why I think micro CC has been king, because doing damage is just so important. And of course this is Dragonflight, so your class has like 10 rotational buttons, and so it's not the easiest thing to do with the other pressures of PvP. That's more of a topic for another video, though. I'm just mentioning it since I'm hearing a lot of people saying again how CC has to kind of come back and micro CC has to be nerfed, and the whole reason micro CC is better is just damage tuning. Like, damage is just so high, right? And this is also why healing is also tuned to some crazy amounts, where you can just stop people off in like instant heals. And of course this all comes from PvE, since in the end the game is baseline, or PvP game is baseline tuned from PvE, right? We have modifiers and things on top of classes and specs, but they still are modifying the baseline PvE, right? Dampening is also another thing that we have to take a look at. One of the main failures of the Soul Shuffle is basically not letting healers practice, or beginner players practice, since the dampening is extremely sharp from the get-go, and it's a huge difference, right, from going from a BG environment where you're basically a god as a healer to going into, the non-BG environments of arenas where you have dampening, and especially in the Soul Shuffle where it ramps up faster than even in 3 versus 3, right? Another thing that I strongly feel about dampening is the fact that it's an unfair concept through and through. Many classes rely on healing and shielding as a form of defense, and many don't, right? Perfect example of what I'm talking about can be found on one class, the Warrior, right? Arms has shielding and healing, just as like Fury, right? You have Impending Victory, or should I say, right, it has shielding that Fury doesn't have, but it has shielding and healing, which is both affected by dampening, but then it has an immunity on a 1.5 minute cooldown. It is an immunity only for physical damage, right? But an immunity nonetheless, and it has like 30 or whatever % damage, overall damage reduction. Fury, on the other hand, it has a 2-minute cooldown. It has healing, right, as well, or maybe even more healing when you account for like the passive things, but it has a 2-minute cooldown, which is completely there to kind of enhance your healing. So Fury and Arms are just completely differently affected by dampening or by deep dampening, or sure it can affect, sure it can be different for different teams and whatnot, but different comps, depends on what you're facing. But overall, Fury, as the game goes, is progressively weaker, right? So within one class, you can have 2 specs that are completely entirely affected differently by dampening. Ret is another good, I think, example where you have your immunities, but your healing and shielding is, bad without even dampening, right? So when you put dampening as a factor, they're just, non-factors for you, right? It's just nothing. You're not gonna cast your heals and save somebody. Like, maybe you're gonna save somebody in like one of those lucky situations where somebody survives with 1% HP, but that's about it, man. Like, you're not saving anybody with flashes of light, the world of glories and stuff like that. Ultimately, I understand that dampening is there to shorten games down, but I also think it's time for them to forgo dampening and try to achieve shorter games differently by doing some other tunings to the arena environment. And this would very much help with making PvP more consistent throughout its modes, and I think it would make it fair on like more classes, defensives, and actually make it easier to just balance things around, especially since you don't then have that kind of problem of not just the problem of, you just have a more baseline balanced game where, okay, I can duel this class and I can know how this class feels to fight in the arena, right? But not like, oh, I can fight a Retribution Paladin outside and be like, oh my god, this class heals so much, and then I can fight the Retribution Paladin, I go make a Retribution Paladin myself and then I go play the arenas, and I'm like, what the heck, where is my healing? It doesn't exist now. Tanks are another thing that we have to kind of talk about. First specific thing that I want to talk about is tuning of tanks compared to each other. So like tanks within the class of tanks, not comparing tanks to other specs. And I think right now it's safe to say that Guardian is just god tier. Like, you just can't even move these guys from like a flag with 5 people. It takes you like 2 minutes to kill them. It is just absolutely insane. Maybe second best, I would say, is like Blood DK, but then all the other tanks just do not feel nearly as tanky. 2 people attacking like a Vege's Demon Hunter, or like even one caster attacking a Protection Warrior, and yeah, it's like a completely different story. But 5 people attacking a Guardian Druid, yeah, you're not killing him, man. You need a 6th person. I think they just need to work on this to kind of control how many. They just kind of need to work on this kind of make the tanks kind of better towards each other. It's just kind of a hard thing when you have something like Protection Warrior that has kind of nothing versus magical in its toolkit, and then it has so much different things versus physical damage. So they just kind of need to bridge the gap there somehow. And the final thing I want to talk about is, of course, rewards. Man, if they think they can just move the rated BG rewards over, they are very mistaken, in my opinion. Something like Plunderstorm, Renown, Farmer, some other form like that where we have some kind of farming thing that people can do some you know, casually, just invest time and get some rewards. I think that is a lot better. I also think it is very much like an insult to like the people who play rated RBGs right now. Just kind of feels, I think, insulting to them. I personally don't, so I'm not like here trying to defend this for myself or anything like that. I just feel like it's, maybe they should give something else, because like people are gonna try and play rated BGs anyways. If they're gonna enjoy solo RBGs, they're gonna enjoy RBGs. So it might be that there's an influx of players into RBGs. So I just feel like, yeah, kind of taking away from the RBG mode to just give it to the solo RBG mode instead of giving something new, right, to the solo RPG mode. But maybe it's just, I mean, both are RBGs, right? So both should maybe have the similar rewards. Ultimately, maybe they should differentiate some way. But I definitely think that we need something that a casual player can do and achieve things within that system without actually being like extremely cracked at the game, right? You can be Joe Schmo and you just want to chill, you just want to play your whatever easy class that you enjoy, Red Paladin, right? And you want to bubble and click 2 buttons. You know, you just want to enjoy your time and you get something for it. I think you definitely need something like that, like the Plunderstorm renowned track. And that's what I got for you today, peeps. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things YouTubers want you to do, and have a nice day.